There's Kent Hovind. He will call back later. There's a nice, good stuff that we've heard from him today. Please, I urge you all, if you hear this, to contact Gia and ask her how you can take calls with Kent Hovind. You can get paid to call Kent Hovind and record it and put videos on YouTube about it. Just message Gia somewhere on Facebook. Tell her you want to take calls and record them and send the recordings to Gia, and Gia will get you reimbursed. It's a lot of good stuff that Kent Hovind has been telling us about his case. Things we need to ask him is what the jury process is like, the jury selection process. We also need to ask him more about that gate thing. I know there was a gate issue in the courts that happened up in Canada, but I'm trying to see if that law is applicable in the U.S. Something we need to look for is if Kent can place a condition on when the judge asks him the whole raise your right hand and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Let's see if we can ask Kent whether he can put a condition on that instead of saying yes, to say only if I'm allowed to say the whole truth. You know what I mean, because it seems Kent hasn't been allowed to tell the whole truth, and that is not good. So anyways, message Gia, message me, share this with all your friends. Now is the time that we are going to say enough is enough, and we are going to get this entire case overturned, all the way from 2006.
Hey, is this Matt?
Yes, it is.
All right. You had given me a different number. I've tried it a couple times, and apparently you didn't get the funds transferred or something. I don't know what all you got to do there.
Yeah, that's actually someone else who wants to have an interview with you as well. They're one of my friends, and they have ties with the U.S. military.
Oh, okay. Are they there now?
They might be today. I can let them know that you're going to try and call them today if you want me to.
Yeah. Well, I would be thrilled to answer any questions again. Like I said, I got nothing to hide in this case. It's pretty bizarre. I really think, though, that what's happening is the same thing happened to Paul with his case with the Romans. You know, he's hauled off to jail and hauled all over the Roman Empire in the book of Acts. He wrote to the Philippian church and he said, you know, because of my bonds, the gospel has gone out even further, and even people in Caesar's household have heard about it. So that's my prayer, that God will use this to get great glory and get people saved, you know. Praise God. So I think the more people that can see what really happened and check out the case, and many people, many thousands of people are saying, who is this guy they hate so bad? Let me watch one of his videos and see what I think. And then they end up giving their heart to the Lord. So it's been a great blessing. It's been very hard. But 1 Peter 1:7, I think it says, the trial of our faith is more precious than gold. This has been a precious time in my life and in a lot of other people's lives. And we just had a coffee break with one of the guys that have been coming to Bible study here. And oh man, he is totally transformed in the last 2 months of reading the Bible 4 times a day, 3 chapters each time. We cover a lot of Bible. We've read we skipped a little bit. We read almost the whole Old Testament. Now we're up to the middle of Luke. And these guys are just...
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
These guys are growing like crazy. And this guy, George Hunter, he just got sentenced to 12 years, but they're going to count 8 years he already served off of that. So he'll be moving sometime soon. If anybody wants to write to him and be his friend, there's some kind of way to locate him. I don't know what it is, but the state has a way where you can locate people and just write to him, be a pen pal. George Richard Hunter. He's originally from Century, Florida. I think his mom still lives there, but I'll try to get his new address when I can find it, get it posted. But he could use some friends. And he's like early 50s, done roofing and construction all his life. Drugs just ruined him, but man, he is turned around, on fire for the Lord. So I've seen some lives change that are just mind-boggling what God can do when people just surrender. So we just had our little coffee break, and he was crying in there like, oh, he's probably going to the state prison over in Graceville, Florida. We're not sure yet. It's a little about halfway across the panhandle of Florida. So it has been a precious time in 1,000 ways. My book that I wrote on end times, What on Earth is About to Happen, boy, that is changing lives, and we've been going through a bunch of little edits and additions and stuff. I'm going to put out the 3rd edition here soon, I hope.
Have you ever been able to read?
It's really up.
Have you ever been able to read the Pensacola News Journal article about you that came out 4 days ago?
I did, yeah. Somebody said that to me. I don't have it in front of me, but man, oh man, it's crazy the stuff they get wrong in those things. pen there handy?
Yep. Okay, here it goes. A Pensacola evangelist known as Dr. Dino has long maintained that all his ministry's finances and property belong not to him but to God, and that the Almighty's belongings are not subject to humanity's tax laws. Naturally, the federal government disagrees with the good doctor.
Hold it. That is not correct. It's true everything belongs to God, but we also have to live here on this planet. So that first sentence is designed to make me look bad. Our founding fathers and all through American history, they have maintained a separation of church and state. Okay? Churches are non-taxable, and church ministries are non-taxable. All of that is explained, and the Pensacola News Journal has it wrong. Okay? All of that is explained, and people will read my third affidavit, which is up on 2peter3.com. In 2005, I sent an affidavit, 10 pages, to the U.S. Attorney and to the IRS agents and said, look, this is what the experts are telling me. Internal Revenue Code 508 C1A says churches are mandatory exceptions to the tax laws. It was Lyndon Johnson back in 1952 or 3 or somewhere in there that created all this crazy 501c3 stuff. And most churches do that, and that's fine. They're not required to. And it's getting to the point where we may be required to. Okay, then I will. But no, I've never maintained we're not under the... That's crazy the way they phrase that. Have them go to read my third affidavit, 2005. It's up on 2peter3.com. Spread that around. I don't know what page it's on. It's 10 pages, but I think it's near the end, page 789, where it explains very carefully. And I asked the IRS that I sent it to, and the grand jury, and the U.S. Attorney, would you please show me if I'm wrong? This is what the law says. I'm trying to obey the law. I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm not some wild-eyed fanatic waving a 10-pound Bible around shooting people like Hollywood portrays them. I love the Lord. I'm a science teacher. I'm a geometry teacher. I'm logical, rational. Show me step by step where I'm wrong. They never do that. Instead, they make these wild accusations. So that is not correct. Read the next line. Let me respond one line at a time if I could.
Naturally, the federal government disagrees with the good doctor, and in 2006, Ken Hovind was sentenced to a decade in prison for failing to report some $430,000 in taxable income and employee wages. Hovind?
Okay, that is totally not correct. The $430,000 was money that they said was structured. It had nothing whatsoever, zero, nada, nothing to do with taxes, okay? They said we took cash out of our bank, which we did, which anybody can do, to pay our bills, which we did and anybody can do. Over a period of years, that totaled up to $430,000. We had purchased, 6 or 8 homes in the neighborhood. It's an older neighborhood, and we were remodeling them for staff to live in until we needed the property to expand the ministry. And so we would send college students with a truck to Home Depot. Here's $500, go buy shingles, or here's $2,000, go buy plywood. And in 2003, we stopped all the cash and said, let's get some credit cards, and so the cash transactions stopped in 2003. 3 years later, they came and arrested me for structuring, which I had never heard of before. And they said, you took money out of your bank in amounts less than $10,000. Yeah. So what? Well, that's structuring. Well, I don't know what that is. Anyway, at trial, we did not even give a defense because my attorney said this is so ridiculous. Drug dealers were dealing in cash, trying to get away from, whatever. And so the Congress, in their great wisdom, passed a stupid law that said if you take out more than $10,000, the bank has to fill out a form, which they still do. It's called a cash transaction report, CTR. Well, the drug dealers said, we don't want that report filled out. So we'll go take out $9,000 in the morning and $9,000 in the afternoon. And so they've had Congress modify the law to say, if you take out over $10,000, but you do it in smaller amounts so that the bank does not fill out their form, that is structuring. So it had to be in one day. Okay, we went about every 12 days and took out money that slowly grew to $9,500, and the pastor had told us, try to keep it under $10,000 so you have cash on hand for all the projects you got going. Keep it under $10,000. So my wife did that. They came and arrested us, said this is structuring, which it wasn't because it has to be 2 transactions in one day, not transactions 12 days apart, spread out over 3 years. And they called that structuring. Then they said, okay, all that money, that $430,000 over that period of years, you have to forfeit that to the government. I said, what for? It's not drug money. The structuring laws that call for forfeiture are Title 21 are laws about drugs. Drug dealers forfeit their cash all the time. There's no drugs in my case. I've never seen drugs and taken drugs in my life. I took an aspirin about 4 months ago, I think. I've never tasted alcohol other than NyQuil about 10 years ago one time. Okay? There's no drugs in my case. So the judge agreed, yep, you have to forfeit that $430,000. Well, then they found out I don't own anything in the world. So they said, okay, we want to seize the church property to pay this $430,000 bill, which has nothing to do with taxes. The $430,000 is what they think was structured funds. And we're still fighting all that. Then they went down and said, okay, we're going to seize the bank account and seize the property over the same $430,000. It all goes back to that $430,000, which I think anybody with half a brain and one eye can see is stupid. That was a stupid decision. A stupid law to begin with, and a really stupid decision to say that money, first of all, it wasn't structured, and then to say it should be forfeited. Hello, it was spent 5 years ago. It's sitting on the roof of the house. You know, it's shingles and plywood and whatever. So it is so retarded. And then when they found I don't have anything, they said, well, we want to seize the church ministry property. So the trustee fills out a notice saying, excuse me, you can't seize that property. That's not his. That belongs to the trust. And after 7 months of a trustee demanding a trial or a hearing or something, the judge just arbitrarily ruled, okay, you can seize the church property. So they go down, the guy seizes the church bank account, and the U.S. attorney that seized it, he goes a couple of weeks later, flies to Detroit to have sex with a 5-year-old, gets off the airplane with a doll and a bottle of Vaseline in his hand, and they arrest him in Detroit, finds out it's a sting operation, and they put him in prison up there, and he hangs himself in prison. That was John David Roy Atchison. Tell him to Google that, October 5th, 2007. Well, it was real quiet for a while. Then they went down and changed the titles on all the properties at the courthouse to say U.S. government. They changed all the church titles to say U.S. government. So the trustee filled out a Liz Pendens or something like that, or filed a suit, I think. I wasn't involved in that. I'm not involved in that at all. And that's Paul Hansen. And the judge threw out the suit and said, no, that property belongs to them. So then my cellie up in New Hampshire said, well, Ken, you can file a Liz Pendens, which is simply a notice that says litigation is still pending. So the Liz Pendens just let the buyer know, hey, there may be a title, maybe a problem with this property. You might want to think about that before you buy it. Yeah, I can't put a lien on any property. I can't actually file anything. I'm locked up in New Hampshire. So the Pensacola News Journal is totally wrong. It has nothing to do with taxes. That money is structured funds. So read that sentence again and make sure I got everything covered there, would you, brother?
Yes, it says... Okay, it says... Naturally, the federal government disagrees with the good doctor, and in 2006, Ken Hovind was sentenced to a decade in prison for failing to report some $430,000 in taxable income and employee wages.
That is totally true. No, totally not true. It's an absolute lie. The 10 years in prison was for structuring and has nothing to do with failing to report $430,000. That is, they're lying or they're stupid. Tell them I said so.
All right, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now it says, Hovind, 61, is approaching the end of that sentence, but he's now facing a new suite of charges on allegations that he tried to stymie the government's efforts to collect on his outstanding debt.
That is not correct either. The charge is mail fraud and contempt of court. They're saying that I mailed a lien through the mail to stop the sale of the property. That's the charge. Mail fraud, which I think is a stupid law also, carries a 20-year sentence. Okay? So they are not correct on that one either. They are correct that the new charges they want to add time to my time. That is correct. But they're not correct on what it is for. Okay? Next one.
Okay. Next one says, according to an October 21st federal indictment filed against Hovind and Paul John Hansen, a Nebraska man known for his vigorous opposition of government tax and property laws, the duo has been charged with mail fraud and criminal contempt for interfering with the sale of Pensacola properties Hovind was forced to forfeit as a result of the 2006 case.
Okay, hold it. Read that first half again and stop where about what's that afterward? charged with?
Okay, it says, according to an October 26th federal indictment filed against Hovind and Paul John Hansen, who is a Nebraska man known for his vigorous opposition of government tax and property laws, the duo has been charged with mail fraud.
The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
The duo has been charged with mail fraud.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I'll call you back in a minute here.
Okay.
Paul Hansen does not oppose any of these laws. He thinks like, I've never met the guy, okay? I'll meet him here soon, I hope. But he thinks like I think that the government should obey the law. And if they've been disobeying the law for years or decades, and somebody says, hey, the law says this, what are you doing? And they get mad about that because we caught their hand in the cookie jar, that's their problem. So Paul does not vigorously oppose any tech laws like that. He thinks the law should be upheld, and he understands the law. And we think the government is disobeying the law. Let me call you right back, and you can go next line on that one, okay?
Sounds good. I'm ready. Okay, there's part one of a call to Dr. Ken Hovind. Now, while he calls right back, we'll have our friend here talk while he calls back.
Oh, yay! This is lovely. While you guys are listening clearly to Dr. Hovind and Matt, they're discussing the Pensacola News Journal article that was published, I believe, 4 days ago or so. You can find it on the Pensacola News Journal article website. Not article website, Pensacola, sorry, I'm nervous and I had no idea I was going to be doing this. I was just listening along on Skype, watching this live, and now I'm talking. So, anyways, bear with me as I don't have a script, but I never have a script, so here we are. You can find the article on Pensacola News Journal website, pnj.com, or you can find it on the Facebook page as well. Just type Pensacola News Journal in the search engine, and you'll find it. And that way, you guys can also read along as you listen to Dr. Hovind and what he has to say about this article.
Do not use three-way or call waiting features during this call.
Oh, here's Matt.
Here's Ken Hovind. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, I think whoever wrote that Pensacola News Journal article should have interviewed me first, because they're either deliberately lying, or they're really stupid about what this case is about, or they're trying to slander my good name. Stupid maybe can be fixed and overlooked, okay? But if they're lying or slandering, they should be sued. And maybe they will be. We'll have to see on that. I don't know. I got other things to do right now. But no, that is incorrect. Read the next line and let me respond to that one. And you can let them know I said all this and publish this article in the Pensacola News Journal.
Okay.
I am not a tax protester. Yeah, I'm not a tax protester. Our country was started by those guys throwing the tea in the harbor, and I'm glad they did what they did, okay? But that is not my calling in life. I have never been a tax protester. Actually, the IRS's own records show that I am not a tax protester. And those 35 pages that showed I don't owe any tax and I'm not a tax protester is exactly what the government removed from my individual master file before they presented it at trial. And all of that information is up on 2peter3.com, and it's up in my complaint against the U.S. Attorney, which is up on 2peter3, and it's in my complaint against the judge, and it's in my tort claim, T-O-R-T, which is all up on 2peter3. It is spelled out clearly. They had proof of my innocence, and they withheld it during trial. That is illegal. I'm trying to obey the law. They are disobeying the law. Those folks who are involved in this should be fired. They should be flipping hamburgers. They should not have a badge. And they should pay me the damages, and they should send me home and leave me alone. I'm trying to get along with everybody. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The next line says, the indictment says that in 2011, Hansen filed liens on 9 of Hovind's forfeited properties on North Palafox Street, Cummings Road, and Oleander Drive.
Okay, hold it now.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
That is incorrect. The indictment says that Hansen filed liens on Hovind's properties. Those were not Hovind's properties. Those properties belong to the trust. Hansen is the trustee. Okay? I don't own the properties. The judge made an arbitrary ruling. Oh, there is no trust. Those are Kent's properties. Well, they aren't and never have been. There are 10 properties. 2 of them were in my did because the bank wanted it that way, and right away the next day or soon thereafter donated that to the trust. All the rest were purchased in the name of the trust, a properly prepared and structured trust, a ministry trust. Now, the government doesn't like trusts. I don't know what their problem was. I don't understand what a trust is, okay? Ask me a geometry question, I can help you. I don't understand this legal stuff or this trust stuff. That's Paul Hansen's expertise, and that's what he did. And that's what Glenn Stoll has done since 1982. Properly structured trusts, exactly according to the law. So they may not like that law. Okay, well then don't just arrest somebody. Go to Congress and change the law. But they work around it. So that is incorrect. It is not Ken Hovind's properties. That was the trust properties. But since the judge ruled there is no trust, it's mine, well then that gives me the authority to file a lis pendens if I want, if litigation is pending.
Do you know why the Pensacola News Journal didn't interview you?
Why?
I don't know. I'm just like...
No, I've never heard from them.
Oh, really?
I wish they would. I'd be glad to talk to them.
Yeah, I wish the two of them... I wish they'd like to talk to you, too. Okay, the next line
Well,
here...
you would think.
The next line here...
As a reporter, hello.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, okay, the next line says, in 2012, the government was granted an injunction ordering that neither Hovind nor any agent acting on his behalf file or attempt to file any liens, notices, financing titles, and claims of whatever nature to cloud the title of the properties.
That is not correct. That is either a lie or they are stupid. Okay? Paul Hansen was noticed not to file any more liens. I was never noticed of anything. I was up in, I don't know where I was in that year, but I've never received anything from the court about not filing any liens. I never got a thing. I'm not the trustee. Paul's the trustee. Paul was noticed, and he didn't file anything after that. I was never noticed. So that is not correct. Okay, next line.
Okay, the next line says, in 2013, both Hovind and Hansen reportedly mailed additional documents disputing the ownership of the property.
Okay, that is not correct. I don't think Paul Hansen filed anything after in 2013. I don't know. I don't know what he does. He's the trustee. That's his job. I go preach on dinosaurs, okay?
Okay.
So I don't know what he did.
Okay, the next line says,
Okay, next line.
both men were charged with mail fraud, attempt, and conspiracy to commit mail fraud and criminal contempt. Mail fraud can be punishable by up to 20 years in prison and as much as $500,000 in fines when involving an organization.
That is correct, that's what the charges are. There are numerous problems with the charges, and
Okay.
we're working on all that. But the chance of winning in a federal court is very close to zero, unless you get some people on the jury that understand their jury nullification process.
Right.
Any juror, any place, can just simply say not guilty, regardless of what the evidence shows. If they don't like the law, or they don't like the look on the judge's face, or if they can just simply just stand by their guns and say not guilty.
Okay.
Now, they're supposed to have a jury of, they're supposed to give me a jury of my peers, P-E-E-R-S. That's people who know me. I will not get that. I will get a jury of 12 people. But if it was 12 people that really know me, search the internet. I don't think you'll find many people that really know me and have known me for a long time who will think I'm a criminal of any kind. Even the atheists respect my integrity. They may not like me, but they'll say, yeah, the guy's, he's honest, he's consistent, we think he's wrong. But I think if I had a jury of peers, go interview interview everybody within a half a mile of my house. You'll find some say, oh, he was wrong, he should have done this. Okay, but is he honest? Is he consistent? Is he a Christian? Is he godly? Does he steal? Does he lie? They'll all say, no, he tries to live for the Lord. They might think I was wrong in what I did. I don't know.
Okay.
But I tell you, if a jury of peers would never convict me of anything.
Okay, there's one more line here. This one's a long one. It says, Hovind is scheduled to stand trial in Pensacola on December 1st, according to court records. He is currently being held in the Santa Rosa County Jail. Hovind has gained a degree of national notoriety for his views on creation. His ministry, Creation Science, Evangelism, and Enterprises, supports a literal interpretation of the Bible and espouses that God created the earth about 6,000 years ago in 6 24-hour days. One of the ministry's contentions is that humans and dinosaurs existed at the same time. Prior to his arrest, Hovind operated a Pensacola theme park and museum called Dinosaur Adventureland, billed as the place where the place where dinosaurs and the Bible meet. And that's the end.
Okay. Well, CSE Enterprises is incorrect. Okay. It's a CSE Ministry Trust, and Paul Hansen does all that. I have nothing to do with that. Okay. That is the trust. There used to be a CSE Enterprises. That's what somebody advised me years ago, but that is no longer. Does it say owned and operated Dinosaur Adventureland? Because I don't own any of it.
I don't believe so. It just says his ministry, Creation Science, Evangelism, Enterprises, supports the literal interpretation of the Bible, and says, no, it just says Hovind operated a Pensacola theme park and museum called Dinosaur Adventureland. It doesn't say owned on here.
Okay, I am absolutely guilty of believing the Bible is true. I believe the earth is about 6,000 years old. I believe dinosaurs lived with man. I think they called them dragons all through history, and there are thousands of legends from just about every country in the world about dragons. I cover that topic very thoroughly on my video series, which they can get from drdino.com. So I am 100% guilty of believing the Bible is true and believing God created everything in 6 days. That would include dinosaurs. So that, and it's an absolute fact. We had Dinosaur Adventureland on North Palafox, and we had 100,000 visitors come from all 50 states and 120 countries, and I think we were a great blessing to the city of Pensacola and Escambia County by bringing in people from all over the world to tour our place. Everything we do teaches people, love the Lord, obey the law, be a Christian. I think you would think any city would want a ministry like that. That's going to help, unless they want a large prison system. Do they want people to be wicked and evil so they can lock them up and have a paycheck for more deputies, or I don't know. Love of money, root of all evil. But any place I go, including here at the county jail in Santa Rosa, I try to improve it. I have a Bible study 4 times a day. I think I've helped the lives of many guys. We've done, I think it's been great. Since I've been in prison, I've written 37 books. I've read 1,500 of them. I've answered 15,000 letters. I've led about 700 people to the Lord. I'm trying to be a Christian everywhere I go, trying to act like one and live the Christian life. I think you would think that a county like Escambia County would want a ministry that helps people be godly, which is all I've ever done for 46 years of my Christian life. I don't know, we'll have to see, but I doubt that I will stay in Escambia County, Florida. I'm going to fight until I win this case if it takes me 400 years, okay? I didn't do anything wrong. I will only use lawful methods, lawsuits, tort claims, etc. There are many things in my case that need to be examined. Congress needs to open a full investigation. Who changed my trial transcript? If it was the judge, she needs to be impeached. It's real simple. Judges are appointed for life during good behavior. It is not good behavior to change the trial transcript. We paid over $6,000 for that trial transcript. Normally, they give them in 2 months. It took 16 months to get my transcript. When we got it, somebody had changed it. I think there needs to be a full investigation. Well, I have nothing to fear from an investigation. Investigate anything you want. I'll cooperate. They have lots to fear from an investigation.
Okay,
Somebody changed the transcript.
There's more stuff I need to tell you now.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Why would they use drug laws to seize church property? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there's a story here from a year ago that I'd like you to comment on here. Let me talk about it here. Okay, it says, this is from 2013. The Pensacola Creationist minister convicted in 2006 of myriad tax fraud charges has been ordered to pay more than $3.3 million in taxes and penalties, according to court documents filed May 15, 2013. Ken Hovind, 60 at the time, is currently in the federal Correctional Institution in Berlin, New Hampshire, serving a 10-year prison sentence for failing to collect and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in employee-related taxes, obstructing tax laws, and structuring transactions to avoid financial reporting laws. He is scheduled to be released on August 11, 2015. Hovind has been in a years-long battle with the IRS over unpaid taxes, but Hovind, who petitioned the U.S. Tax Court in February 2010 to reassess the amount he owes to the IRS, did not respond to the IRS's motion to have a judge make a financial decision.
Okay. Read that one sentence or one phrase at a time and let me comment instead of the whole thing. Start over. One phrase and then quit and let me comment.
Okay. The Pensacola Creationist minister convict. Wait. Let me see. Where was it at? Was it?
Because there are numerous errors, but I can't remember them all. You go slow and I'll take them one at a time.
Okay. Let me find it here. Is it paragraph 1, paragraph 2?
The tax court, by the way, the tax court is another whole issue of exactly who are they and what gives them jurisdiction, blah, blah, blah. But that case is under appeal right now. It is not final. That is in the appellate system. You tell them when, but that's where it is. What judge in his right mind?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
What judge in his right mind would ever rule against the IRS when he knows he's going to be audited next year? Everybody's scared of these people because they're going to get audited. So they never rule for anybody and against the IRS. Not a fear.
Hurry, you bitch.
You know, you want to get your house blown up at night? That's what happens, you know. Let me call back one more time, brother, okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Because that 60 seconds, they just simply shut it off. They don't give any warning. They give you a 60-second warning and then click, off it goes.
For sure.
I'll call right back.
Okay. Be sure when you put this on the recording that you mute this part out. These 2 minutes here we're talking.
Okay, that's perfect. I sent you the article. Didn't you get it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it for May 23rd, 2013.
No, that's not the one. I don't know why you got that. Here, I'm copying and pasting it on Facebook right now.
I clicked on the link you sent me.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. Because that's not the right one. Okay, can you do this for me? Can you go to the Pensacola News Journal?
I'm on it right now.
Go to Pensacola News Journal's Facebook page. Because it's right on there. You'll see it. It's a Dr. Dino story. It says Evolution of Dr. Dino. That's the story that we want to cover, okay?
That's what I'm on. The Evolution of Dr. Dino. There's the story from November 9th, which I just read. Then there's a story from May 23rd, 2013, which I was reading, but you got mad at me.
Oh, I didn't get mad at you. I didn't get mad at you. I thought you were reading the wrong thing because I was like, what? That's from 2013? Because they just posted that one. So, it's the Evolution of Dr. Dino. That's the one we're supposed to be covering.
So the part under May 23rd, 2013 is what you want me to read?
Okay,
The part I was reading?
Here, let me just, I'll tell you what my side says, and then you read that, okay? It says, it says,
This is a global tel-link prepaid call from
Ken Hovind.
an inmate at the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Why are you so slow?
It says, a Pensacola evangelist known as Dr. Dino has long maintained that all of his ministry's finances and property belong back. Okay, yeah, so you read that part, right? So it goes down.
From November 9th,
Yeah,
I already read all that.
Yeah, that's the one.
I already read all that part.
Okay, so go ahead. You read all that part. That's the entire story, like the one that I sent, that link that I sent you. We want to discuss that in length, okay? That whole part there.
I was reading the May 23rd part, but you got mad and you told me to stop.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't know. I got confused because I didn't know that was from May 23rd.
Okay.
It said November 9th, 2014 over here. So,
and then you go down, it says May 23rd. Okay, should I accept it now?
Yes, accept it.
Oh, too late. He just hung up. Maybe he'll call back.
He will call back. I hope he calls back. Is this part being recorded right now too?
Yeah, but you can just cut it out.
Yeah, at this part I can just like pause and just be like, I'll start talking my own stuff right there, and then we can bring it back. Yeah, so it's good. Okay, yeah, well that's wonderful. I'm glad we're getting this covered.
All right, he's calling back. Now I've listened to that recording.
Okay, yeah, exactly. You want to see a change of the yeah, sorry. And then after you do this, I'll have to upload it and stuff. But I'll have to do that when I get back because I have to do my shopping for work. I needed some boots and stuff for work.
Right. Okay, so
yeah.
I'll continue where I was going before you got mad at me for no reason. Okay, here we go.
To decline this call, hang up. This call is subject to monitoring and recording. Do not use three-way or call waiting features during this call. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Welcome. Yep.
All right. Where did we leave off? You were going to read that one phrase at a time, and let me comment here.
Yes, the Pensacola creationist minister convicted in 2006 of myriad tax fraud charges has been ordered to pay more than $3.3 million in taxes and penalties.
Hold on. Break it off shorter pieces than that. There are not a myriad of tax fraud cases, charges, okay? The only thing involving taxes was the one charge of failing to withhold taxes. That's the only thing. There was no tax fraud anyplace. Failing to withhold was the charge. There were 3 charges in the case: failing to withhold taxes, structuring, and threatening an IRS agent, which was count 58, because I prayed for him on the telephone. On the radio, on a radio program, I prayed for him after he raided our ministry.
Okay.
So no, that is okay. Good. Just do one phrase at a time, and let me comment here.
Okay. Next part, it says you were in it says you were in New Hampshire. It says serving a 10-year prison sentence for failing to collect and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in employee-related taxes, obstructing tax laws, and structuring transactions to avoid financial reporting laws.
Okay, that is not correct. There was no evidence that any money was lost. The individuals who worked at the ministry all paid their own tax. The government didn't lose a single dime. Okay? The charge was failing to withhold. See, they want all the churches and all the employers to be the collection agency for them, which is a voluntary thing. You don't have to do that. My attorney, after trial, said don't even give a defense because these charges are ludicrous. The jury can see that. So the charge was failing to withhold. The government didn't lose a penny, let alone hundreds of thousands of dollars. The individuals who worked at the ministry, like an independent contractor, paid their own tax.
Okay.
So that is not correct. No money was lost. They're either lying or they're stupid. Tell
Okay.
them I said so.
Okay.
Sweetly, in Christian love.
Absolutely. Okay. Next line says, Hovind has been in a years-long battle with the IRS over unpaid taxes, but Hovind, who petitioned the U.S. Tax Court in February 2010 to reassess the amount he owes to the IRS, did not respond to the IRS's motion to have the judge make a financial decision.
Okay, that was, I don't remember, I think it was Jerry Behringer, an attorney from Illinois, who was doing that. And I had told him to stop. I think the tax court said he had to do something. I don't remember what happened there, but see, I was being moved all over the place. I've been moved 23 times, I think, now in my 8 years. Okay. I never got notice of any of that.
Okay.
I finally got some papers from the IRS. They're in my file. They arrived about 3 years after they were sent. They got transferred here and there and finally ended up to me. This is crazy. No, I wasn't part of that. So that is not correct. Okay, next line.
Okay, next line says, okay. On May 15, 2013, Tax Court Chief Judge John O. Colvin ordered Hovind to pay millions in taxes, accrued interest, and penalties for the years 1998 to 2006.
Okay, that may be true. I don't know. If I that or not. But that entire case is on appeal right now. It is not over. So it would be incorrect to say it's done. It's not done. And we'll appeal it all the way.
Okay. Next thing says, as a former owner of CSC and Dinosaur Adventureland on North Halifax Street, Hovind had maintained throughout criminal proceedings that...
Wait. Hold it. One phrase at a time. That is not correct. I am not the owner. It belongs to the ministry trust. They always try to slip this stuff in. I am not the owner. They're wrong. Okay? Now, the judge ruled...
Okay.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
I think her ruling is in error and needs to be reviewed. And if I win in the South Carolina case, it'll have to be reviewed under a 2255, and that's a long story.
Okay.
But in her mind, it's final. She ruled it's mine, but it is not correct that I owned that. I did not. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Hovind had maintained throughout criminal proceedings that he owes no taxes because everything he owns belongs to God.
Okay, that is partly correct. I maintain that I owe no taxes, but it's not because everything belongs to God. It's because I've obeyed all the tax laws. I read their laws. I followed them. I did everything I'm supposed to do. I called. I paid $50 to have an IRS enrolled agent look at our ministry, to have a CPA, and to have a tax attorney, which is exactly what it says you're supposed to do in IRS booklet publication number 517. It says if you have any questions, if you think you owe a tax, please contact these people. Okay, I contacted those people. I paid them $50. They each gave me like a 10 or 15-page assessment and said, you are not doing anything wrong, you're fine. I sent all that to Scott Schneider, the IRS agent who's been hounding me for 15 years now, and said, Scott, what do you want? Okay, they're telling me I'm doing it fine. Please show me where they're wrong. If I'm doing something wrong, please tell me. I'll fix it. I'm not a tax protester. I'm not trying to get out of anything. Please talk to me. He never answered my letter. He's never answered one of my letters, ever.
Okay.
He admitted so on the witness stand at trial. And he admitted the pages that told about my not owing a tax were taken out of my individual master file.
Okay.
He admitted it.
All right. The next line says...
Is it one phrase?
Yep. Okay.
Go ahead. One phrase at a time. Go ahead.
Kent Hovind's wife, Joe Hovind, also served a year in prison for evading bank reporting requirements. She was ordered by a tax court judge in December... Go ahead.
Wait, slow down. Shorter phrases.
Kent
It's true. My wife spent 9 months in prison. It's true. My wife spent 9 months in prison.
It says for...
The person cannot evade anything. The bank has a requirement to fill out a form. If you take out over $10,000, the bank is required to fill out a form. 4 times during those years, my wife did take out over $10,000 for some big project or something, I don't know. And the bank did fill out their form. We don't care if the bank fills out their form. They can fill out any form they want. I don't care. So no, that is not correct that she spent time in prison or that I spent time in prison for the bank not filling it. The bank didn't think they had to fill out a form. They can fill out a form if you walk in wearing a hat. I don't care what forms they fill out. We were not trying to prevent that. The pastor said try to take out less than $10,000, which was easy. That's normally all we have is less than $10,000. But if you want to take your money out of your own bank to pay your own bills, that's your business. If you do it twice in one day, now you may be suspected that, hey, you're just structuring funds. Usually drug dealers do that. We're not drug dealers, never taken any drugs. The laws were passed to stop drug dealers from doing that.
Okay.
That's not what we do. Okay? Everything is legitimate. So the withdrawals were averaging 12 days apart.
Okay.
They are not on one day. So no, she did not do anything, and neither did I, to prevent the bank from filling out a form.
Okay. The last...
They can fill out any form they want, and they... Go ahead.
Okay, the last sentence from 2013 was, your wife was ordered by a tax court judge in December to pay nearly $1.6 million in taxes and penalties.
That I don't know about. I've been in prison since then. I don't know what they ordered her to do or what she's doing about it.
Okay. Now...
They're purposely keeping this separate because I don't want to drag her into anything.
Okay.
I intend to fight. I don't think I did anything wrong, and if I can't win in the court, which I probably can't, I intend to win in the media. People need to know. Nobody beat Hitler for a long time.
Okay.
But the world knew he was wicked.
Okay.
Nobody beat Joseph Stalin for a long time, but the world knew he was wicked. Nobody beat Herod or King or Pilate or the Roman Empire or communist China. Winning, it would be nice, but it's not as important as having people know the truth. I want people to know the truth. I love my country. I love our Constitution. I love the law. We need to have law. I'm in favor of law, okay? I'm not against the law. I think the people who came after me are the lawbreakers, and I think the record is real clear. They broke many laws in my case.
Okay.
They need to be investigated.
Right. Speaking
That's real simple.
Okay.
And I have nothing to fear from a full investigation. Go for it.
Okay, and then just out of curiosity, do you think the public can really stop the courts, or do you think it would be best just to take any sort of plea bargain they give you just to get out, and then go on your feet there once you're out?
Well, to me, a plea bargain is like in communist countries, they beat you until you confess. The purpose of the beating and confession is to make them look good. They can arrest a preacher for preaching the gospel and say, we want you to sign this confession that you're a drug dealer or an arms dealer. And if you don't sign it, we're going to beat you. And then they beat him and do all kinds of cruel things to them and torture them until they finally sign.
Okay.
Even though they had nothing to do with drugs or smuggling arms.
Okay.
Now the government feels like, see, he admitted he's an arms dealer. It's beating a...
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
That's nothing different than they've done to me by locking me up for 8 years so far and threatening to lock me up again. They've never offered me any kind of plea bargain, and I don't know that I would take it. I don't know. I'd like to see what they say. But I don't have anything to plead guilty to that I know of.
Okay.
I'm not breaking any laws. I think they are, and I think this is all cover their backside kind of. This is obviously vindictive because I filed a complaint against this judge and a complaint against this U.S. attorney and a tort claim demanding damages. And I'm going to keep filing stuff the rest of my life. They should leave me alone. Back off. You know, a lot of animals that eat grass.
And I agree with that. But yeah, and
you don't need horns to eat grass. Go ahead.
And yeah, I'll agree with all that. Have you ever thought about the benefits of just being able to get out to go back to your ministry and then being able to influence people once you're out through your ministry? I mean,
millions of times.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
have you thought about how this exact same thing plagued the early Christians when they said, why don't you just bow down to this idol and we won't burn you at the stake or throw you to the lions? This is exactly the same thing. Why don't you just kiss this little wafer and we won't torture you? Why don't you just bow down? Daniel, stop praying for 30 days and we won't throw you to the lions. Explain the difference. Or am I right that this is really the same thing? The idea of being home with my family and my grandkids and back out preaching sounds wonderful. I'm sure the idea of not being thrown into the lion's den sounded wonderful to Daniel too. This is what the bad guys have used all through history in every country. Well, don't you want to be home with your wife and kids? We don't want to burn you at the stake. We don't want to throw you in prison. Here, just admit you're guilty.
Okay.
So that we can look good.
There's a story from 2010 I'd like to look at really quick. There's actually about 5 more stories I'd like to look at.
Okay.
All reported by the PNJ. Okay, this is from 2010, titled Tax Evader 1 Sentence Tossed Out. The former head of a creationism theme park in Pensacola has asked a federal judge to vacate his sentence. Ken Hovind, 57, filed the motion with the U.S. District Court, Northern District of Florida, says that both prosecution and his court-appointed attorney erred at the various stages in this tax fraud case. It says Hovind, the founder of Creation Science Evangelism Ministry, is serving 10 years for failing to pay the IRS more than $470,000 in employee taxes. A judge ordered the seizure of Hovind's...
Okay, hold it. Hang on. You're going to have to read this all again, line at a time, so just do it line at a time to start with, and let me comment here.
Okay.
There are several errors already.
Okay.
So go slow, do a phrase, let me say yes or no. Go
Okay,
ahead.
this is from 2010. The former head of a creationism theme park in Pensacola has asked the judge to vacate his sentence.
That's correct.
Ken Hovind, 57, filed... Okay.
I think
Ken Hovind,
they
57.
should have vacated the sentence.
Yep. It says you filed a motion with the U.S. District Court, Northern District of Florida.
Here we go again. 1 minute. Well, as long as you're paying for it, I can keep calling all day, brother. But yeah, I did ask him to vacate the sentence. It's called a 2255 motion. It was denied as being too late.
Okay.
Well, it was too late because they kept my box of legal materials in South Carolina for 8 to 16 or 20 months. 20
Okay.
months after I left, they finally got my legal box to me. So it was denied on a technical error. And it was the government's fault. It wasn't my fault, and that is also on appeal. Let me call right back.
Actually, hey,
another 15-minute call. Hang on.
no, wait. Actually, can you call that other number I called you while I get some other materials ready? All right, there we have it. Ken Hovind, he called 3 times. We got a lot of good information out of him. I think someone else wants to comment on this. Go ahead.
Wow, that was amazing. That was very, very informative. I'm super, super excited and very happy that you're taking these calls. So thank you for doing this. And I'm very grateful that we got the chance to cover that Pensacola News Journal article that was published recently, because that's super important. This is somewhat like a campaign, a political campaign, if you will. So the fact that he's going to be attending trials soon, and there's all these publications coming out, we need to make sure that the publications are correct, and that there isn't anything that's going to, has anything that could be harmful to Dr. Hovind for his trial. So I'm very grateful that we got a chance to cover that. Also, a lot of people have been saying that they don't have faith in the justice system, that they don't think that that it could be changed, that it's too far gone, and the corruption is just, there's nothing we can do about it, that he should plead guilty just so that he can get out of prison. And obviously we got a chance to cover that as well, because I've had several people tell me this, that they think that he should plead guilty just to get out of prison, because he should continue his ministry, and the only way he's going to do that is if he gets out, and they don't think that he's going to get out if he fights this, and if he keeps standing for what he believes in, because that's what he's been doing since the beginning, since his first charge, and you see where that's led him. It was towards the end of his sentence, and he was supposed to be getting out. He should have been out already, according to the Second Chance Act. He should have been out in February, and he wasn't. And now, right before Christmas, they tack him on with some new charges that he can end up spending 20 years in prison. He can die in prison. He can spend the remainder of his life in jail. This is North America, people. This is America. This is not communist Russia or whatever. Even people in Russia, Christians in Russia have it easier than Christians here. We're being persecuted, or being shut down because you won't bake cakes for gay folks. Like, this is just a shame. You have to keep your kids inside for a week or two at a time while gay folk are parading around in their underwear in the streets, and this is not right. Everything is backwards, and we need to make a change, and I hope that you guys will do everything that I've suggested for you to do on my website and on 2 Peters 3. Write Congress, contact the court, write the courts, attend the prayer service in December for Dr. Hovind's trial, and in January for Dr. Hovind's trial, and get this out there. Contact the media, share it with your church, and let people know the injustice that's taking place. It's very sad. It's a very sad, sad day for America. Go ahead, Matthew.
All right, that's the end. Please share this with all your friends. This is one of the best recordings we've ever done, so we got to get this around the whole country. Anyways,
Amen.
have a good day.